Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is an American politician and attorney currently serving as the 49th Vice President of the United States under President Joe Biden, a position she has held since 2021. Born on October 20, 1964, in Oakland, California, Harris is 59 years old. She previously served as a U.S. Senator from California from 2017 to 2021. Harris's career began in the Alameda County District Attorney's office, where her legal expertise and dedication quickly distinguished her. She transitioned to the San Francisco District Attorney's office and later became the city attorney. In 2003, she made history by becoming San Francisco's district attorney. Her success continued with her election as California's Attorney General in 2010 and a successful re-election in 2014. In 2016, Harris was elected as a U.S. Senator, defeating Loretta Sanchez, and became the first South Asian American and only the second Black woman to serve in the Senate. Her tenure was marked by advocacy on progressive issues like stricter gun control, the DREAM Act, and federal cannabis legalization. She gained national attention for her incisive questioning during Senate hearings, including those for Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. Harris's bid for the 2020 Democratic presidential nomination ended before the primaries, but she was chosen by Joe Biden as his vice presidential running mate. Their ticket's victory over the Trump-Pence administration led to their historic inauguration on January 20, 2021. As vice president, Harris played a crucial role in passing significant legislation, including the American Rescue Plan and the Inflation Reduction Act, thanks to her tie-breaking vote in the evenly split Senate. With President Biden not running for re-election in 2024, Harris launched her own presidential campaign, endorsed by Biden, and selected Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate. Her campaign represents another milestone in her groundbreaking political career. As of 2024, Forbes estimates Kamala Harris's net worth at around $8 million, which includes the wealth of her husband, Doug Emhoff. Early life and education. Kamala Harris was born on October 20, 1964, in Oakland, California. Her mother, Shyamala Gopalan, was a pioneering biologist from India who arrived in the U.S. in 1958 to pursue graduate studies at the University of California, Berkeley. Her research on the progesterone receptor gene made significant contributions to breast cancer research. Her father, Donald J. Harris, came from Jamaica in 1961, studying development economics at UC Berkeley. He became the first Black tenured professor in the Department of Economics at Stanford University, where he holds emeritus status. Kamala's parents met in 1962 and married in 1963, but their marriage ended in divorce by 1970. Following the separation, Shyamala Harris moved back to California with her daughters, Kamala and Maya. The girls were influenced by a network of African American intellectuals and activists in Oakland and Berkeley. In 1975, Shyamala took a research position at McGill University in Montreal, where Kamala graduated from Westmount High School in 1981. Harris started her higher education at Vanier College in Montreal before transferring to Howard University in Washington, D.C., a historically Black university. She earned a degree in political science and economics in 1986. She then attended the University of California, Hastings College of the Law, where she was president of the Black Law Students Association and graduated with a Juris Doctor in 1989. Early career. Kamala Harris began her legal career as a deputy district attorney in Alameda County, California, in 1990, quickly establishing herself as a skilled prosecutor. By 1994, she was appointed to the State Unemployment Insurance Appeals Board and the California Medical Assistance Commission by Willie Brown, then Speaker of the California Assembly and her partner at the time. In February 1998, San Francisco District Attorney Terrence Hallinan recruited Harris as an assistant district attorney. There, she led the career criminal division, managing a team of 5 attorneys and handling serious cases, including homicides, burglaries, and sexual assaults. In August 2000, Harris joined San Francisco City Hall, working under City Attorney Louise Wren, where she ran the Family and Children's Services Division, representing cases of child abuse and neglect. Wren would later endorse Harris in her campaign for district attorney. Harris ran for District Attorney of San Francisco in 2002, mounting a vigorous campaign that highlighted her criticisms of Hallinan's performance. She won with 56% of the vote, becoming the first person of color elected as San Francisco's District Attorney. She was re-elected unopposed in 2007. In her first 6 months in office, Harris made significant progress by resolving 27 of 74 backlogged homicide cases. She advocated for higher bail for defendants in gun-related crimes, addressing loopholes that previously facilitated criminal activity. Harris committed to not seeking the death penalty in her cases, a promise she upheld in notable cases, including the murder of a San Francisco police officer and the prosecution of an alleged gang member. Harris established a hate crimes unit focusing on hate crimes against LGBT youth and supported legislation like AB 1160, the Gwen Araujo Justice for Victims Act. She also created an environmental crimes unit in 2005 and supported San Francisco's sanctuary city policy. In 2004, Harris launched the San Francisco Reentry Division, which achieved a recidivism rate of less than 10% among its graduates over 6 years, significantly lower than the state average. In 2006, she led efforts to address truancy among at-risk elementary school students, resulting in a notable reduction in chronic truancy rates. Attorney General of California, 2011 to 2017. Kamala Harris was elected California Attorney General in 2010, becoming the first woman, African American, and South Asian American to hold the office. Re-elected in 2014, she achieved significant recoveries under the False Claims Act and played a key role in the national mortgage settlement and the introduction of the Homeowner Bill of Rights. Harris's office secured a $1.2 billion judgment against Corinthian colleges and negotiated privacy agreements with major tech companies. She launched the Division of Recidivism Reduction and Reentry, prioritized environmental protection, and introduced principled policing training to address bias in law enforcement. Her tenure also included significant actions against technology crimes and transnational criminal organizations. In 2015, Harris received an honorary Doctor of Laws from the University of Southern California, and in 2017, she was awarded a Doctor of Humane Letters from Howard University, where she also delivered the commencement address. U.S. Senate, 2017 to 2021. Election. In January 2015, Senator Barbara Boxer announced she would not seek re-election, leading Kamala Harris to announce her candidacy. Harris emerged as a leading contender, winning 78% of the California Democratic Party vote at the February 2016 convention and receiving Governor Jerry Brown's endorsement. She led the June primary with 40% of the vote and faced Loretta Sanchez in the general election, the first time since 1914 that no Republican appeared in the general election for California's Senate seat. Endorsed by President Obama and Vice President Biden, Harris won the November 2016 election with over 60% of the vote. She pledged to protect immigrants from President-elect Trump's policies and continued serving as Attorney General through the end of 2016. Tenure and political positions. 2017, Kamala Harris, sworn in on January 3, opposed Trump's travel ban and criticized his cabinet nominees. She voted against Neil Gorsuch's Supreme Court confirmation and raised concerns over Jeff Sessions' Russian contacts. Harris questioned officials on the firing of FBI Director James Comey and called for Senator Al Franken's resignation over sexual harassment allegations. 2018, Kamala Harris, appointed to the Senate Judiciary Committee in January, questioned Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen about immigrant policies and demanded her resignation over family separations. During Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation hearings, Harris scrutinized his connections to the Mueller investigation and opposed his appointment. She was also targeted in the October mail bomb attacks. In December, she sponsored the Justice for Victims of Lynching Act, which aimed to make lynching a federal hate crime but did not pass the House. 2019, Kamala Harris supported busing for school desegregation and co-sponsored the Green New Deal. She called for transparency from Attorney General William Barr regarding the Mueller report and criticized his summary as misleading, eventually demanding his resignation. Harris also disputed claims of voter suppression affecting gubernatorial races, urged an investigation into Uyghur persecution, called for a probe into the death of Roxana Hernandez in ICE custody, and led efforts to remove White House advisor Stephen Miller over white nationalist affiliations. 2020, Kamala Harris spoke on the Senate floor about justice and the principle that no one, including the president, is above the law during Donald Trump's impeachment trial. She voted to convict Trump on charges of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. Harris also worked on bipartisan bills, including those for bail reform, election security, and workplace harassment. 2021, Harris resigned from the Senate on January 18, 2021, to assume the role of vice president. She was succeeded by Alex Padilla. 2020 presidential election, 2019 to 2020. Presidential campaign. Kamala Harris officially announced her candidacy for the 2020 Democratic presidential nomination on January 21, 2019. Her campaign saw significant early success, including a record-setting amount of donations in the first 24 hours and a large turnout of supporters at her launch event in Oakland, California. In the first Democratic presidential debate in June 2019, Harris gained a surge in support after challenging Joe Biden over his past comments and stances on school integration. However, her campaign faced setbacks in subsequent debates, where criticism from Biden and Tulsi Gabbard about her record as California Attorney General led to a decline in her poll numbers. Harris faced scrutiny for her tough-on-crime policies and defense of California's death penalty. An online support group known as #KHive emerged to back Harris and counteract racist and sexist attacks. Despite early enthusiasm, Harris withdrew from the race on December 3, 2019, due to financial constraints. She later endorsed Joe Biden for president in March 2020. Vice presidential campaign. In May 2019, influential members of the Congressional Black Caucus endorsed the possibility of a Biden-Harris ticket. Following Joe Biden's decisive win in the South Carolina Democratic primary and further victories on Super Tuesday, calls for him to select a black woman as his running mate intensified. House Whip Jim Clyburn played a key role, advocating for the choice as a way to reward African American voters for their support. By early March 2020, Biden committed to selecting a woman as his vice presidential pick. Kamala Harris, who had publicly expressed interest in the role, emerged as a leading contender. Her background as the only African American woman with significant political experience made her a strong candidate. On August 11, 2020, Biden officially announced Harris as his running mate. Harris made history as the first African American, Indian American, and female vice presidential nominee from a major party, and the first resident of the western United States on the Democratic national ticket. After Biden and Harris won the 2020 presidential election, Harris became vice president-elect. Her celebratory call to Biden, "We did it. We did it, Joe. You're going to be the next president of the United States," became one of the top tweets of 2020. Both Biden and Harris were named Times Person of the Year for 2020. Vice Presidency. Kamala Harris was inaugurated as Vice President of the United States on January 20, 2021. She made history as the first female vice president, the highest-ranking female elected official in U.S. history, and the first African American and Asian American to hold the office. She is also the second person of color to serve as vice president, following Charles Curtis, a Native American who served under Herbert Hoover. Harris, along with President Barack Obama, is one of the few individuals with acknowledged non-European ancestry to reach such a high office in the U.S. executive branch. 2024 presidential campaign. On July 21, 2024, President Joe Biden suspended his re-election campaign and endorsed Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee for the 2024 presidential election. Harris received endorsements from high-profile figures including Bill and Hillary Clinton, Barack and Michelle Obama, Jimmy Carter, and the Congressional Black Caucus. Her campaign made history with $81 million raised in small-dollar donations within the first 24 hours, marking the highest single-day total for any presidential candidate. If elected, Harris would be the first female, first Asian American, and second African American president of the United States. By August 5, 2024, she had secured the Democratic nomination through a virtual roll call of delegates and subsequently announced Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her vice presidential running mate. Personal life. Kamala Harris has had notable relationships and achievements in her personal life. In the 1990s, she dated Willie Brown, the then Speaker of the California Assembly, and briefly dated talk show host Montel Williams in 2001. Harris met her husband, Doug Emhoff, through a mutual friend in 2013. Emhoff, a Jewish attorney and former partner in charge at Venable LLP's Los Angeles office, married Harris on August 22, 2014, in Santa Barbara, California. Harris is stepmother to Emhoff's children, Cole and Ella, from his previous marriage. As of August 2019, Harris and Emhoff had an estimated net worth of $6 million. Harris is a member of the Third Baptist Church of San Francisco and the Links, an exclusive social and service organization of prominent Black American women. Her family includes her sister, Maya Harris, a lawyer and MSNBC political analyst, her brother-in-law, Tony West, general counsel of Uber and a former senior official at the U.S. Department of Justice, and her niece, Mina Harris, founder of the Phenomenal Women Action Campaign and former head of strategy and leadership at Uber. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please like, share with your friends, and subscribe to stay updated on our latest content.